Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation X tournament here on the Homeboys channel. And today we're going to have Chancellor Sheppard going up against Lorenzo, a battle of the machine decks. So starting off with Chancellor Sheppard, he actually didn't play too many cards, so there was a lot of gaps that I had to try and fill in. But essentially his deck revolved around the Cyber Ogre, and he was the person who taught Zane how to duel and harness the power of the Cyber Dragon. So there is just a tiny bit of that mixed in here just because he needed monster space. But Cyber Ogre is a level 5 monster with 1900 points. You can throw it away from your hand when you have another Cyber Ogre on the field that's in a battle, and you can negate the battle, and then until the end of the next fight, that Cyber Ogre that's on the field will get 2000. So already it's a terrible effect. One, because he has very low points for a tribute monster, and two, because his effect only works if you have 2 copies of it already, essentially. So that's going to be really, really difficult. It does have a fusion, the Cyber Ogre 2, which is 2 Cyber Ogres, and whenever it attacks, it's going to get attack equal to half of whoever it's fighting. So if it's fighting a monster with 3000 attack points, it's going to get 1500 extra points, and that is its only effect. Another very underwhelming card, but you know, underwhelming duelist, so it is what it is. To help out with the fusions a little bit, you do have the Earth Hex Sealed fusion. So if you have this and Cyber Ogre on the field at the same time, they can just fuse with each other without polymerization. You have 2 copies of Fusion Conscription to try to search out your Cyber Ogres faster, either for fusion or to use their effect from the hand. You do have 1 copy of Power Bond, since this is a machine deck. I would honestly argue that your best monster is actually Cyber Dinosaur. Whenever your opponent special summons a monster from their hand, you can summon your dinosaur from your hand. 2500 points, which is really, really nice, and honestly one of the most reliable cards that you do have in this deck. You can, however, cheat your way into one of your powerful fusions, because you do have these 3 Cyber Dragon fusion monsters, and you can cheat your way in there with Cyberstein by paying 5000 life points to summon one of them in attack mode. You have this really interesting trap, Cyber Shadow Gardener. It can only summon itself during your opponent's main phase, and at the end of their turn it goes back to being a face down trap card. Basically it has no points, but whenever somebody finally attacks it, its attack and defense become the same as whoever it battles. So it could potentially stall for you, or depending on the circumstances, it could easily get run over. You really have to see. Now you do have Urgent Schedule, which, you know, if your opponent has more monsters than you do, then you can summon a level 4 or lower Earth Machine and a level 5 or higher Earth Machine from your deck, both in defense mode without their points. And that's actually why Oil Man is here, because Oil Man, you know, you have the 1 copy sitting in your deck waiting to be summoned with Urgent Schedule. That way you can bust out one of your Cyber Ogres, combine that with the Fusion Conscription, and you could easily get 2 of them out. But that's about it for Chancellor Sheppard. Moving on to his opponent. So Lorenzo plays a BES deck. I'm not even sure what the BES stands for. I just know that it's like a reference to one of Konami's old, you know, space shooter games, whatever you want to call them. Basically, almost his entire deck is filled with tribute monsters. Some of them special summon themselves with their own effects. They all have pretty decent stats. Whether you're special summoning or normal summoning, they all get counters, and it's typically, they all get 3 counters, and it's like these little gates here in the picture to protect the core. Every time they fight a monster, they lose a counter, whether they're attacking your opponent or vice versa. They'll lose one of these counters, and if they do a fight with no counters left, then at the end of that battle, they'll destroy themselves, and that's how all of these work. You do have cards somewhere in here. Oh, here we go. Shield Recovery to put 3 counters back onto one of your BES monsters. Some of the level 4s, they either special summon or they set up by summoning tokens to help you out just a little bit, but they really don't work too well with the main strategy. Honestly, you're better with all these tributes, and the reason I say that is because of cards like Boss Rush and BEF Zelos, who basically help you summon out the tribute monsters a little bit quicker. With monsters potentially dying, you do have Machina Armored Unit, which can summon a machine with the exact same attribute as whoever died, but with less attack. Then really interesting as well, you have the spell card Stage Select, which it shuffles your opponent's deck, so it messes them up, and then you take your field spell and just add it to the top of your deck, which is, I don't understand why it works that way, but that's absolutely hilarious. To keep the spaceship theme going for the side deck, we actually go into Cleforts, which is a very, very powerful deck. They were very dominant in the Arc 5 era. So this will be probably the only person in this tournament that has pendulums. These are all similar to BES in the sense that all of these are tributes. You can normal summon them without a tribute, but they're gonna become level 4 monsters with 1800 attack points, yada yada. Or you can go ahead and pendulum summon. However, you know, to balance things out, when you pendulum summon with these, you can only pendulum summon Clefort monsters. So you can't use this to vomit out all of your BES monsters. It just doesn't work that way. You have Apocalypse Fort Towers, which is an absolute behemoth. 3000 attack points. It's unaffected by spells and traps from your opponent, and it's not affected by monsters whose original level or rank, in case they use an Xyz, is lower than the level of this. So they have to be at minimum of level 10 for their monster effect to work on Apocalypse Fort Towers. Whenever your opponent has a monster that's special summoned, they're gonna lose 500 points as well. It's just such a terrible thing to try to have to deal with. It's a nightmare for any opponent. But that is Lorenzo's deck. Moving on to the duel. Turn 1 between Lorenzo and Chancellor Sheppard. It looks like Lorenzo is going to be going first, and he's going to go ahead and activate the BEF Zelos over here, which is going to get a boss rush straight from his deck. So he already has a combo that he could potentially establish, and on top of all of that, all of his BES monsters are going to gain a power boost of 500 attack and defense. Plus, they won't be able to be targeted by their opponent's card effects, nor can they be destroyed by their opponent's card effects. So you're going to have to beat them in by battle, which is going to be a gargantuan task for a deck like Sheppard, who doesn't have powerhouses already. BEF Zelos is going to do that, and then it can also go ahead and bring out one of the BESs from his hand. So here comes Crystal Core with 2600, and it's going to get a free counter thanks to the field spell as well. Now that he has a monster on the field, here comes Boss Rush. So I believe with Boss Rush on the field, he won't be able to summon anything. But during the end of the turn that one of his spaceships gets destroyed, you know, he can summon another one straight from his deck. It doesn't matter if it's stronger or what. And here is a shield recovery to add 3 more shields onto his Crystal Core. So now it has a total of 4 shields. It can battle a total of 4 times before it self-destructs. To see what Chancellor Sheppard does, he sets 3 face downs in his back row. He's going to set a monster, and he's going to pass turn. We're going to really see what he's up to, because you see the morphing jar in his hand, so he can completely reset both players' hands, but we're going to see why exactly he's waiting on doing that. Here comes another effect of BEF Zelos to summon out another spaceship. However, the Dust Tornado is going to swoop in and take out the field spell before it gets the chance to resolve. With the field spell no longer there, its effect doesn't go off, so no more spaceship summonings. So now he is completely locked in. He will not be able to normal summon, I believe. Yes, while this card's face up, you cannot normal summon or set. So there you go. He has to rely on special summons only for the rest of this duel, as long as Boss Rush is face up. There goes 1 shield down. Killed the Proto Cyber, and here we go. We see the monster set on Chancellor Sheppard's side of the field. Excuse me. Morphing Jar activates. So whenever it gets flipped face up or flip summoned, you know, both players throw away their entire hand and then draw until they each have 5. So he's only going to lose the Earth Hex Sealed Fusion, but over here, Lorenzo is not only going to lose a Machine or Armored unit and 2 of his best cores, but he's also going to lose the limiter removal, which could have doubled the attack of his own monsters. And that is another shield down for Crystal Core. However, he does hit stage select, so Sheppard's deck is completely shuffled and randomized, and now next turn Lorenzo will get a brand new copy of his field spell so that he can keep the combos going. At the end of the turn, Call of the Haunted is going to bring back the Proto Cyber Dragon, because it does come out in attack mode, so doing it at the end of your opponent's turn will let you switch it to defense mode on your turn, with them keeping it alive, etc., etc. Sheppard finally drew a ogre, and it looks like he's going to use monster reincarnation, get rid of this trap card to go back into the morphing jar, and he's not going to use it yet. He's going to summon a proto cyber dragon, and when these things are on the field, their name becomes cyber dragon, so he's going to power bond instead of polymerization. So that way, yes, he'll take 2,800 points of damage at the end of his turn, but the cyber twin dragon, who can attack 2 times, has 5,600 attack points for as long as it's face up on the field. He's gonna pay 1,000 points of life right here to activate the instant fusion, bringing out the Panzer Dragon. The monster that you bring out with instant fusion can't do anything, and it dies at the end of the turn. But when Panzer Dragon dies, it can blow up any card on the opponent's side of the field. So Panzer Dragon will either probably get rid of Boss Rush or maybe Call of the Haunted, whichever. But Cyber Twin is not only going to get through 2 entire shields, which are the only 2 shields left on the Crystal Core, but it's going to do a fat stack of damage as well. There was 1 shield, 35, another shield, 35, and Lorenzo automatically is in the losing position. With Panzer Dragon popping now at the end of the turn, he's going to attempt to pop the Crystal Core. Before it leaves, though, Lorenzo's going to use his own Call of the Haunted, and he is bringing out the BES Big Core Mach 2. And the Big Core Mach 2, when it gets special summoned, it puts 3 shields on itself. Then, since it's the end of the turn that Crystal Core died, Boss Rush is going to summon out the BES Blaster Cannon Core, 3,000 defense points. And while these two are really, really great monsters, they're not doing anything to a 5,600, so we're going to see what Lorenzo has planned. This was special summon, so there goes 3 shields on that as well. He hit another Call of the Haunted, he's going to play it face down, and now it's a matter of stalling out, using your shields to really protect yourself. It would take 2 turns for the Cyber Twin to kill a single one of these ships. He's going to MST though and cheat his way out of it. By destroying MST, you destroy the monster that was summoned with it. So there goes 1 threat already off of the board. There goes 1 shield, and here goes this 2nd shield. So next turn, Bluster Cannon Core is probably going to suffer something major. Also, the effect of Power Bond for the anime card, you lose the life points during every one of your end phases. So Sheppard has done 5,600 damage to himself. Another Call of the Haunted will bring back Mach 2, and then Boss Rush is going to bring out BES Big Core. So there we go. He has a lot of defenses set up for himself. He's just going to sit there and play in defense. And this is Chancellor Sheppard's final turn to do something. So here comes the Morphing Jar again. Lorenzo's going to lose 4 spaceships. He's going to lose a Cyber Ogre and a Fusion Recovery, which it is what it is. They're both going to draw 5. He's really trying to hope to turbo through this and figure out what he can bust out before Power Bond kills him. And unfortunately, it looks like he doesn't have anything, so he's going to swing into 1 shield, swing into a 2nd shield, Morphing Jar. Ooh, okay, I don't know what he's doing this for. Morphing Jar is going to swing into BES Core, but its defense points are bigger, so Sheppard does more damage to himself. Oh, okay. It didn't have any shields on it since it wasn't properly summoned. So since it battled without a shield, there, it destroyed itself, but Power Bond takes effect. Lorenzo takes round 1. Round 2 between Lorenzo and Chancellor Sheppard, and Sheppard's actually going to make the first move, which is interesting because he's going to need all the cards he can get. Lucky him, he opens up the duel with another Morphing Jar, 2 really nice trap cards, and he passes turn. Lorenzo looks like he already also has a very, very beautiful setup because he's going to get the BEF Zelos, which is going to go ahead and grab that Boss Rush for him. No monsters on his field, so here comes BES Blaster Cannon Core with, what is that, 4 counters? 4 counters on Blaster Core. Lord British Space Fighter is also going to see play here, so it could either attack twice, destroy a face-down card, or summon a 1200 attack token if it kills a monster in battle. And here comes the BES Big Core Mach 2 with the effect of the BEF Zelos. So Blaster Cannon has 4 shields. Big Core is about to have, what is that, also 4? It's absolutely insane. The Machina Armored Unit, when you do finally kill something, he's going to get a float almost immediately. Morphing Jar finally hits. Lorenzo doesn't lose too much. It's almost like he played around it. And there's one shield for that. Here comes the Lord British Space Fighter. Negate attack will end the entire battle phase. Stage select just to mess up Chancellor, and oh, okay, he gets to put any card on top. Oh my god, that's even worse than I thought. So since stage select lets him move any card to the top of his deck, he's going to go ahead and put up a double Cyclone. Sheppard is going to go ahead and use a Call of the Haunted at the end phase again to bring back the Cyber Ogre from Graveyard. Moving back over to Sheppard's turn, Fusion Conscription is going to allow him to get another Cyber Ogre, MST to hit that random face down, which happens to be limiter removal. So not only is he not doing anything, but for this turn, all of the ships on Lorenzo's field have double the points. So we have 5,800, 2,400, and 6,000 attack points. Fusion Sage is going to activate here though, letting him grab a Polymerization card, and the Anime Power Bond also counts as polymerization. So here comes a doubled up Cyber Ogre 2. It will be able to gain extra attack points on top of its, what is that, 5,200 whenever it fights a monster. So it will be able to get over every single threat on Lorenzo's field. And here comes the Cyberstein. So he will be able to pay 5,000 life points in order to summon out a Cyber End Dragon before using his own limiter removal, doubling everyone on his field to 8,000 with piercing damage, 1,400, and 10,400 attack, with the ability to gain more attack based on whoever he battles. He's going to swing into the massive Blaster Cannon Core. What was that? 7,000 points of damage, leaving Lorenzo with just 600, meaning Cyber End Dragon will finish this duel. Round 2 goes to Chancellor Sheppard. The final round after that amazing OTK by Chancellor Sheppard, we are now officially 1-1. Here comes the lightning round. Lorenzo actually subbed out all of his stuff for some Cleaforts, it looks like, so he has some deadly combos in wait. But Chancellor Sheppard not only opens up with Cyber Jar from his side deck, but he opens up with the Future Fusion. So there goes the Cyber Ogre 2. It is now equipped with Future Fusion. It cannot attack this turn, but it's turn 1, so who cares? Pot agreed to see what he's going to hit, and he does get a Kaiju and a limiter removal. So monster removal and massive beatdown. He's going to set his Cyber Jar, which is interesting because this has the chance to blow up his own fusion. So it's very peculiar that he went that way, but he revealed the Cyber Dragon Fusion to search for Cyber Dragon with the Fusion Conscription. He's not allowed to play it this turn. Urgent Schedule face down just in case, passing it over to Lorenzo. He's going to go ahead and special summon BES Blaster Cannon Core since he has no monsters and his opponent does. It gets the 3 shields, and he's going to set the Pendulum Scale with Cleafort Monolith and Cleafort Scout. And so basically the way that this works, you have these numbers over here in the red and blue. One scale has a 1 and one scale has a 9. So every monster from level 2 all the way to level 8 that's in his hand, he can special summon all of them once per turn. When a Pendulum monster dies, it goes face up in the extra deck, and he can summon one of those as long as this space is empty over here. So that's what he's going to go ahead and do. He's using the effect of Cleafort Scout to pay 800 life points to add any Clee card to his hand. So he's going to go for his trap card, it looks like, and I believe this is the trap card that summons itself as a token. Then he's going to Pendulum summon out his Cleafort Helix with 2,400. That way it bypasses the whole I become 18 thing. Limiter removal is actually going to double up both of his monsters. So Cleafort Helix has 3,600 and BES Blaster Cannon Core has 5,000 attack points. He's going to go in for some massive damage. Sheppard takes 2,400, easily getting rid of the Cyber Ogre. But here is the Cyber Jar to completely reset the field. So now both players actually get the opportunity to look at the top 5 cards of their deck, summon any monster that they get, and they go ahead and put the rest and add them to their hand. So over here, Lorenzo found BES Big Core, nice. Cleafort Stealth, also nice. Recreate, Climate Change, and BES Big Core MK2. Over here on Sheppard's side, He has Cyber Phoenix, Cyber Esper, Cyber Dinosaur, Proto Cyber Dragon, and a Polymerization. That's a lot of monsters and a good poly as well. So unfortunately, with the effect of Cyber Jar, you can only summon out the level 4 or lower in either face-up attack or face-down defense. So while Lorenzo does have a lot of monsters, you know, you can only pendulum summon one of these because of their pendulum effect. But he does have his MK2. He does have a big core. He did get through 5 cards in his deck. And on Sheppard's side, he has 3 additional monsters, and a Polymerization waiting in his hand as well. So we're going to see what direction he takes that. Lorenzo's going to play face down, pass turn. Here comes another Proto Cyber Dragon, but first, here comes Recreate. So over here, it's a continuous trap card. If a monster gets normal summoned or flip summoned that's level 4 or lower, negate its effects until the end of the turn. So this is no longer Cyber Dragon, meaning he can't go for Cyber Twin or anything anymore. Then if you special summon a level 5 or higher, also negate its effects. So Recreate can be a very, very big problem for a lot of different decks. Let's see how Sheppard plays around it. He's going to poly anyways and use the Cyber Dragon in his hand for Cyber Twin Dragon. So unfortunately Recreate is going to go ahead and negate that monster's effect, so it won't be able to attack twice anymore. And then here comes Cleif's End in order to summon itself as a token. Limiter Removal is going to hit the field though, so it doesn't matter if he can't attack twice. He's going to go in with 2200 Proto Cyber Dragon for 400 damage, 2400 from Cyber Esper, 24 from Phoenix, and 56 from Cyber Twin Dragon. Chancellor Sheppard wins the duel.
Turn your appearance to a disappearance. I fuck with nothing but gangsters, nothing but hustler niggas. Sound off, sound off.